Today, our group will be discussing stress and disabilities. We want to explore how these two areas connect and impact people's everyday lives, both mentally and physically. Throughout this presentation, we'll take a closer look at what stress and disability really mean, the challenges they create, and ways we can better support individuals facing them. Let's start by understanding what stress and disability actually mean. Stress is the body and mind's natural reaction to pressure, uncertainty, or demands in daily life. It's something everyone experiences, and it can be either temporary, like before a test, or long-term, such as from ongoing challenges at work or school. Stress affects how we think, feel, and perform, and when it builds up, it can take a real toll on both our mental and physical health. Now, when we talk about disability, we're referring to a physical, mental, or sensory condition that can make certain activities more difficult or require some form of adaptation. Disabilities can look very different from person to person. Some are visible, like mobility impairments, while others are invisible, such as anxiety, depression, or ADHD. By understanding both stress and disability together, we can see how they often interact and influence one another. Stress can make managing disability harder, and living life with a disability can bring unique stress of its own. Recognizing this connection helps us better understand people's daily experiences and what contributes to their overall well-being.
For this slide, it highlights some of the main causes of stress for people living with disabilities. First, physical and health challenges can play a huge role. Things like chronic pain, fatigue, or mobility limitations can make everyday tasks more difficult, which will add to the ongoing stress. Next, there are environmental barriers, such as buildings, transportation, or technology that aren't accessible for disabled people. These barriers can create frustration and limited independence. Social isolation and stigma also can contribute. Many people with disabilities face discrimination or exclusion, which can lead to loneliness and a feeling of being misunderstood. Another factor is financial strain. High medical costs, assistive devices, and limited job opportunities can make it hard to stay financially stable. Healthcare access issues are also another stressor. For example, struggling to find providers who are both qualified and accessible. There's also adjustment and identity stress, especially when someone is adapting to a new disability or learning a way to navigate life with a long-term condition. And finally, psychological pressure. Things like internalized ableism, microaggressions, or past trauma can build up over time, affecting self-esteem and mental health. Overall, these combined challenges show why it's so important to build supportive, inclusive environments that reduce stress and promote well-being for people with disabilities.
Mental health affects how we think, feel, and respond to challenges. Stress is a normal part of life, but for individuals with mental disabilities like ADHD, ADD, or anxiety disorders, stress doesn't just feel stronger, it can interfere with focus, memory, and emotional control. When stress builds up, it can worsen ADHD or ADD symptoms. You might feel more restless, distracted, or overwhelmed, which then adds even more stress. It becomes a cycle. Stress increases symptoms, and those symptoms create more stress. Unlike physical disabilities, mental disabilities often involve invisible challenges, so people might not recognize how deeply stress affects someone's daily functioning. Tasks that seem simple, like meeting deadlines or stay organized, can take much more mental energy under pressure. Overall, this connection between mental disabilities and stress show how important it is to understand the internal struggles people face, not just the invisible ones. Managing stress isn't just about calming down, it's about breaking that feedback loop between stress and symptoms to protect long-term mental health.
So for my part, I'll be talking about the physical side of stress and how it can affect the body, especially for people living with disability. When we go through stress, our body reacts automatically. It's called the fight or flight response. Our heart beats faster, our muscles tighten up, and stress hormones like cortisol are released. That's helpful short term, but when stress keeps happening over time, it starts to wear us down physically. For example, people often get muscle tension, like sore shoulders or neck pain, or sometimes even headaches or back pain. Stress also messes with our sleep, so we feel tired and drained during the day. Another big one is that stress weakens our immune system, which means we can get sick more easily or take longer to recover. Over time, chronic stress can lead to high blood pressure or even heart problems. For someone already dealing with a physical disability, this extra stress can make symptoms worse or slow down healing. So, overall, stress doesn't just affect our mind, it really affects our body too. That's why physical self care, like rest, movement, and relaxation, is such a big part of stress management.
Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about an important topic that often goes unspoken: how people with physical disabilities manage stress and where they can find help and support. Living with a physical disability can bring daily challenges that others may not always see, from navigating public spaces to managing pain or even dealing with feelings of isolation. These experiences can create a high level of stress. But the good news is, help is always available, and no one has to face this alone. One of the most effective ways to manage stress is through support networks. Talking to a counselor or joining a disability support group can provide a safe space to share feelings and connect with others who truly understand. Many organizations, such as National Center for Disability and Journalism and the American Association of People with Disabilities, offer mental health and community resources. Another helpful method is focusing on self-care and physical activity. This could include gentle stretching, breathing exercise, or adaptive sports. Activities like yoga or swimming can reduce tension, boost mood, and build confidence as well. Technology also plays a big role. There are apps designed for stress relief, mindfulness, and accessibility that make relaxation techniques easier to practice anytime or anywhere. Finally, it is important to remember that asking for help is a sign of strength, not a weakness. The stress is a natural response to life challenges, and managing it is part of living healthy and balanced life. So let's continue to support, listen to those people with disabilities, because mental health care and stress management are rights that belong to everyone. Thank you.
Coping strategies, breathing exercises, in through your nose, out through your mouth, allows the body to relax, focus, release any tension in the body, etc. The 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique: 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 2 things you can taste. Resetting your body, allowing it to be present. Ask for help, social support. Talking to friends and family, letting yourself express how you are feeling. Connecting with others who have dealt with similar problems. Engaging in activities. It could be painting, music, sports, games, and much more. And final, rest. Taking the time to reset and relax. Refill your body with energy, strength, focus, and much more.
This slide focuses on ways we can reduce stress and improve support for people with disabilities. First, we need to listen to lived experiences. That means including people with disabilities in decisions and about their own care and the policies that affect them. Their voices should guide the solutions we create. Next is improving accessibility everywhere is key. Physical spaces, online platforms, and social environments all need to be inclusive and easy to navigate for everybody. We also need to enhance mental health services. Specialized programs that address disability-related stress can make a huge difference in emotional well-being and resilience. Another step is to provide education and training for healthcare staff. Teaching empathy, communication, and accessibility awareness helps build trust and better care experiences. We should also increase funding and support networks, expanding community programs, peer support, and financial aid to reduce pressure and isolation. It's important to break the stigma around disability and mental health. Open conversations help normalize these challenges and encourage people to reach out for help. Finally, we can use technology for access. Things like telehealth, virtual counseling, and assistive devices help people get the care and connection they need, no matter where they are. Overall, these steps move us closer to a world that's not just accessible, but truly inclusive and supportive for everybody.
In conclusion, stress and disability are closely connected. Both can deeply affect a person's physical and mental health. People with disabilities often face unique stressors like discrimination, social isolation, and limited access to care, which can make daily life more challenging. We've seen that stress can impact the body through fatigue, tension, and weakened immunity, while mentally it can lead to anxiety and emotional exhaustion. That's why coping strategies such as breathing exercises, grounding techniques, and reaching out for social support are so important. But coping alone isn't enough. Real progress comes from listening to lived experiences, improving accessibility in all environments, and breaking stigma around disability and mental health. When we combine awareness, empathy, and action, we can build a more supportive and inclusive world, one where everyone has the opportunity to live with less stress and more understanding.